Hi, David again. So if you're just joining us, in the first video of this series, I raised the question, started with the question, is there a God? I mean, really. And I made the argument that what's really behind this question, what people really want to know is there something beyond all this? All this might be, you know, different things for you. You might just be thinking of how everything in life is born to die. One day we're all going to die. Maybe you're feeling your mortality. Maybe you've lost a loved one and you're wondering, is that the end? Is that, does their life continue on past this bodily, earthly existence? Is there anything eternal that we are headed towards? Or maybe you're just looking around at your life and wondering, is there something beyond all this? Ah! Whatever it is, and so question then becomes, is there something beyond all this? Now, what is this? What is something? What exactly, if there is something beyond all this, what exactly is that something? Well, at this point, we really can't answer that question. So whatever it is we're asking about, I'm just going to represent on the board with this circle that says something. At this point, that's all we can do to represent it. Now, and I also mentioned, someone said to me, there is no God and blah, blah, blah. And among his arguments was, a very, very common one, and it's one that a lot of people wonder. And so I think it's something that should be addressed seriously. Not in a blah, blah, blah. I promise I won't say that anymore. Is there something beyond all this? So one of his arguments was, okay, billions of Christians around the world believe that they have the one true faith. So do Muslims. Like 1.5 billion Muslims believe they have the one true faith. 2 billion plus Christians believe they have the one true faith. And with Christians, since I am one, I can say this, you could break that down even further. Evangelical Christians believe they have the one true faith. And not only are other religions wrong, every other Christian is wrong. Pentecostal Christians, probably, or you could just go further up, but still breaking it up, Protestants don't believe Catholics are part of the one true religion. Catholics don't believe Protestants are part of the one true religion. And okay, I'm overstating it, I know, but again, just to make the point, all these people have these differing views and they're all convinced they have the one true religion. And if you're on the outside, you look at this and say, how do I know who's right? Well, I'm not here to answer that at all. Because, like I say, at this point, we're just trying to answer the most basic question. Is there something beyond all this? Something that all of these religions point to that maybe we can believe it. And maybe it won't matter if you can acknowledge it in a way that it won't matter what religion you're coming from. So, when you're comparing and contrasting ideologies, I always find it helpful to go to the origins of them. Say, okay, how did they start? And more important, in the case of religion, there was always one founding figure. So, starting with, as he said, okay, all right, now, so I don't lose my board here. You mentioned Christianity. Okay, so we'll put JC to represent Jesus Christ, because that's where Christianity really started, right? Muhammad to represent Islam. You should throw Judaism in here. I mean, we've got 2 of the 3 monotheistic faiths. So say Moses for Judaism. Of course, I've mentioned Buddhism. Let's put Buddha in here. Putting, I guess, here. Baha'u'llah. He was the founder of Baha'i. A very cool religion, by the way. I took a world religion class in Survey of World Religions in college, and I remember thinking, if I couldn't be Christian, I'd like to be Baha'i. Zoroastrianism. Zoroaster. Okay, this was a religion that started in ancient Persia, and is still around to some extent. Okay, so you have all of these people who started their own religions that are still around today, and they don't say exactly the same thing. And this is where people get stuck. But see, when I look at it, I say, okay, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Baha'u'llah, Zoroaster, Buddha, they all were driven to answer that question we started with, is there something beyond all this? And they dedicated their lives to answering that question. I mean, they went on a quest. They fasted in the wilderness. They were under bow trees. They were tempted by demons. And, well, you get into the origin stories. You get the idea. They were totally committed to exploring, to find out, is there something beyond all this? Jesus. Okay, so he started his vision, something like this. Muhammad went searching, he found something, his vision of something is there. Moses went searching, found something, and actually when you read the story it's kind of funny because he's kind of sorry he found it and wish he could forget it, but that's the thing. Once you find this, you can't ever forget it. Buddha. Went searching and came back with, again, a system of beliefs based on his vision. Zoroaster had a vision and created a belief system based on that. Baha'u'llah had a vision. Created a belief system based on that. These are all probably the most famous, the greatest mystics of all time. All going across thousands of years of time, thousands of miles of geography, and vastly different terrains and vastly different cultures, cultural backgrounds, vastly different social, economic backgrounds. They all went in search of an answer to that one question. Is there something beyond all this? And the one thing, people like to look at the red and say, look, they're all different. It can't be real. It had to be made up. No, because if you really look into their belief systems, you find there's a lot in common. And to that one question, is there something beyond all this? Every single one of them said, absolutely. And they dedicated, after they found the answer, they dedicated their lives to communicating the vision, what they saw and heard in this realm, we'll just call it a realm of eternity that they had visited, in the hopes that other people who were asking that question could somehow learn from what they saw and what they heard. And that, to me, is the greatest proof there could ever be. See, this is what we call, in court, this is what you would call eyewitness testimony. That all of these witnesses who dedicated their lives to answering that question, that as far as that one question goes, they came back with the same answer. Yes, there is something. We have seen it and we have heard it. So, maybe, you didn't have a vision as great as they did, but, to me, this is some pretty powerful evidence that, yes, there is something beyond all this. You can call it God, maybe it's Nirvana, maybe it's a great spirit, maybe it's the universe, whatever you want to call it. It does exist. At least, all these guys say so. And, so no, does that prove beyond all doubt, or no? But there's a preponderance of evidence I think that we'd be very foolish to ignore. So, there's my answer. Hope this has been helpful to you. And I guess to take away anything from this, maybe it would be a better world if we stopped focusing on, like, which one of these is right? Is it Buddha? Is it Jesus? Is it Mohammed? Is it Moses? All that involves focusing on the red. Focus on the center. Focus on what they have in common, and you'll see there is something beyond all this.